So it's time to start our practice. So remember, there's a sequence here. We're gonna start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there are topics that we all chose yesterday. This is not written in stone, it's written on paper, and we can change it. Can see if, for example, by group 3, session 1, we're in crazy chaos and it's not a good idea to end there. We will continue into session 2 with the same topic, but we'll see where we are. Or maybe by 11 o'clock, we're like, peace, love, kumbaya in community. Then we go and relax. But it is a journey, and also your names are there. It also isn't written in stone, but I hope everyone will commit lah. But again, at the same time, you're not well, you're sick, all these things, don't force yourself. It's not a good idea to facilitate when you're sick. And sick can be either your body or your mind or your heart or whatever. Your soul, yes. Okay, so let's make it very smooth. I'm gonna ring the bell when it starts. So then it's you guys, yeah? Rizlan, Katrina, and Noel. And when your 1 hour is up, I'm gonna ding the bell. And then you guys just switch to the next group. I think you just introduce yourselves for the next group. Similar for the third group. If you think the group needs to be reminded of the guidelines, you can do that. If you think they need some input, inspiration, and you have something you want to read, yeah, but that's really up to you, because if the group, you have to see where the group is. If the group after 1 hour with Katrina, Rizlan, and Noel is in really good flow, you don't have to intervene, you don't have to do anything, you just say your name, because you don't want to kacau the flow. But let's say the group by that time at that 1 hour point is a little bit stuck, macam bosan, tired, whatever. Then you, as the new team, think about what might be appropriate. Is it a story? Is it calling for even sometimes silence, or reminding of the guidelines? Yeah. And practice the guidelines yourself. So if you feel you're moved to say something, trust your intuition. Yeah. And remember the I statements. So for example, you're very frustrated. You really want to whip the group into shape. And you think you're moved to speak, but actually you need to just be self-aware that you're frustrated. So instead of facilitating, you'll be like, you guys, you really, really need to get your act together. What is so hard? What is so hard about community? Just everybody has to get with the program. But actually, that's actually you're frustrated. You see what I mean? So that I'm giving you an example of, you think you're moved to speak, but actually you're telling, instructing, rather than owning that I'm actually sitting here and I'm really frustrated. Does that make sense? There is a difference lah. Okay, we've just put there the stages: pseudo community, chaos, emptiness, community. And remember, all these things are not like a linear thing. They go from one to the other to the other. Sometimes the line between each is very blurred. Sometimes from pseudo community, something can happen in a group. Like, let's say a tsunami happens. And usually a disaster like that, a pseudo community can go straight to community. But why do we need a disaster to be a community? You see what I mean? So what I'm saying is these stages are very abstract sometimes. Sometimes it's very clear, and it can be subtle, it can be powerful. And Rizlan could be feeling already in community, but Ryan could be in chaos. But when there are enough of us who are emptying our, tadi saya benci betul orang tu. But now I actually am looking at that person, my eyes feel softer. I understand more why he is like that. Then more and more people start to feel that way. You get the group into emptiness, and then you will start to creep into community. So hold that as well in your mind. And this is not rocket science. Kamu tahu ba sudah ni? This is just language. Yeah. Okay. So try to erase everything else. Open space, theory U, whatever. Forget it. These are just tools. Trust your breath. Trust your intuition.
And I invite everybody to take a couple of deep breaths with me. In and out. One more time. In and out. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this space. I will be co-facilitating this session with my colleagues, who will introduce themselves in just a moment. In this session, we will be talking about burnout, and I encourage everybody to be present. If you find that your mind is wandering, I encourage you to wander back into yourself, wander back into this moment, to this group, and just be with the group, just be you, and just be in the moment. I encourage you to let go and put aside any distractions that you might have. Maybe that's your phone, the thoughts, the noise in your head, the burdens you're feeling, your nervousness, your anxiety, your self-judgment, your self-criticism, your assumptions, your perceptions. I encourage you to let that be put aside. Don't think about your next session, what you're going to say. Just be here. There is no wrong or right thing to say. I encourage you to just listen to your body, to your heart, and show up for yourself and show up for the group. I'm going to let my colleagues now talk about some of the guidelines that we will use in this session.
Of the co-facilitator for this session, which is Burnout session. So I will be explaining to you the guidelines. I will talk bilingual between English and Malay for supaya senang lah, sikit faham. So yeah, kita ada 11 guideline. So the first one is be on time for each session. It is simple but not easy. So yeah, be mind of that. Every session please tengok jam, sudah waktu, datang. Dan yang kedua, ini kita sudah dengar banyak kali. Say your name before you speak. Okay? My name is. Be proud of your name lah. Because that's your name for your whole life. So own it. So the purpose saying your name is like the word after your name is yours, not others. So be proud of what you say, be confident. Like Katrina said, that no right or wrong, just say it. And own your statement, own your words. And the third one, speak personally and specifically using I statements. This is really close related to number 2. You own your statement by saying I or saya, aku, me, dan sebagainya lah. Okay, maksudnya gunalah saya sebenarnya saya punya kerja tak berapa bagus bah. Jadi saya macam tak suka berada di sini apa. Jangan cakap macam kerja kita ni tak bagus bah gitu. So you own your work and you own your word. Dan spesifik tu maksudnya ada hari tu saya pergi sana di tempat tu, tapi tempat tu kamu tak kasih tahu di mana, ataupun ada hari tu saya tak suka pada cakap orang tu begini, tapi kamu tidak cakap specifically what is the issue, the topics. So make sure dia personal dengan kamu, dekat dengan kamu, spesifik supaya orang boleh ini apa yang dia cakap, dan gunakan perkataan saya, aku, gue kalau guna bahasa Indonesia. Okay. Dan yang keempat, be inclusive and avoid exclusivity. So ini juga simple tapi tidak senang. So saya rasa di sini semua tahu macam mana inklusif cara kita bekerja. Okay, kita tidak ni, dan saya tidak perlu expand panjang lah pasal itu. Yang kelima, express displeasure in the group, not outside the circle. Ini kita punya budaya lah, kita punya. So cara senang ya, kalau mau membawang di grup, kan, jangan membawang di luar-luar. Kau ada geng bawang kau, aku ada geng ini, bawang besar, bawang kecil, bawang merah, bawang putih. So kalau mau membawang ataupun cakap benda-benda yang kamu tidak senang hati, cakap di sini. So, dan ya, cakap di sini ya, lebih bagus cakap di sini lah. Saya tidak suka kau buat begini, saya tidak suka kau cakap begitu, saya tidak suka ini sesi, saya tidak suka tu si Rizlan. Cakap saja. Dan jangan cakap di luar lah, cakap di dalam circle ni. Walaupun di luar kamu berbulat juga, circle juga, tapi tidak sama. So cakap di dalam sini. And then yang keenam, commit to hang in there. Saya rasa FSS kita semua ini kita punya expertise lah, because our work is not easy kan. Like GCSE ke, CXPO, Segama, Padi, semualah, PES dan sebagainya. Kita bertahan di sana. So dalam sesi ini pun tolong gunakan kamu punya kepakaran bertahan tu untuk sama-sama habiskan sesi ni lah, sehari panjang ataupun sesi 1 jam ni. Dan speak when moved to speak, don't speak when not moved to speak. Ya, so bukannya tak boleh bercakap ni, bercakap dulu kau begini, si gerak-gerak mulut. So bukan, kau goyang-goyangkan tak. So kau macam ada sudah tu suara di tekak kau, macam mau keluar sudah dia kasih keluar. Okay? So benda kalau tak keluar jadi buruk, kan? So jangan simpan benda buruk, tak bagus, bau orang bilang. So kasih keluar je. Bila kamu rasa mau kasih keluar je tu suara. Tapi jangan bercakap kalau macam sunyinya orang ni, bagus aku bercakap lah. Kamu macam sok-sok, akulah paling pandai bercakap di sini. So jangan. So bercakap bila betul-betul mau bercakap. Jangan bercakap asal bercakap. Jangan bercakap-cakap lah. Okay? Yang ke-8, be responsible for your success. Ini pun lebih kurang jangan menyalahkan ataupun meletakkan sesuatu ke atas orang lain. Macam Rizlan, aku mau kurus tapi boleh kau tolong exercise untuk saya kah? Mana boleh kan? Bila kau mau kurus kan? Jangan salahkan kau punya makanan dan sebagainya. Macam gitulah, contohnya diet lah kan. Jangan salahkan kau punya makanan ni. Makanan ni lah berminyak, makanan ni lah berlemak, tapi kau yang makan. So itu secara simpelnya itulah. Okay. Yang ke-9, participate verbally or non-verbally. Maksudnya ya, ada orang dia sangat senang bercakap, tapi ada orang sangat strong dia punya body language dan sebagainya. Ini depends dengan kamu lah. Macam mana kamu participate sepanjang session. Okay. Yang ke-10, be emotionally present with the group. Bila kita dengar emotion ni selalunya benda negatif kan, tapi emotion tu happy dan sebagainya. Present lah, be dengan emosi kamu. Tak kira ada sedih, gembira dan sebagainya. Bawa emosi kamu dalam perbincangan ni lah. Sebab emosi tak akan pernah menipu. Okay. Kata-kata ni banyak dusta. So emosi tak. Okay. Respect confidentiality. Maksudnya kerahsiaan lah, ataupun privacy. What happened in this circle, stay in this circle. Kalau kamu travel dengan kawan-kawan kamu pun, what happened in Thailand, stay in Thailand, kan begitu. So sama aja di sini, apa yang terjadi di sini, stay di sini, jangan bawa cerita pergi tempat lain, di kampung lain, di grup lain dan sebagainya. Jadi secara simpel itulah 11 guideline, secara bahasa muda, bahasa kampung, bahasa harian. Itu kita akan gunakan guideline ini, be mindful of it, and practice it as best as you can. Okay?
My name is Noel. Good morning, everyone. So last night I was looking for a text, and it was under a full moon, and then the book that called me the title was A Place in Space. And then the chapter that called to me was The Energy from the Moon. So that was like the word that came last night under the full moon. Although many people were asleep, the full moon was out. And so I will read this short text. And also, why the costume, people ask. Because the text has some Japanese essence in it. It's not written by a Japanese person, but yeah. Okay. So let us all take a deep breath first. It's not misty already, so one deep breath, and then I'll start. Suki no hikari wa kono wakusei ni nanjo konen monoma furisosoide imasu, in which I translate and I will start. The moonlight has been pouring down on this planet for billions of years, and for all of us being tuned to, nay, fed by the energy of the sun. The light of the moon has long been an odd and unsettling force. We have it inside us, like seawater and calcium. A cool light that is always in motion, but stable and recurrent in its changes. The full moon has long been a Buddhist symbol of the Tathagata, of perfect and complete enlightenment. Even enlightenment may be understood as just a fine high phase in a cycle. Who does not also love the sight of the new crescent moon in a lavender sunset sky? But Saigyo takes the moon into his mind and out again. It is an opening into another way of seeing this universe in all its spaces and with its beautiful, fragile little creatures. Though Saigyo wouldn't have thought much about it, the flowers of flowering plants co-evolve with insects and are beautiful and sweet-scented for them, not for human beings. The flower cherries of Japan, Prunus cerulata, and relatives, produce negligible fruits and are closer to a wild type, the Yama Sakura, which is the mountain sakura, that blooms on the dark conifer hillsides like gleaming clouds. They are a trembling expectant of several days of openness, waiting for the seed to move around. And then they blow off and away. Saigyo says, as if he himself were a bee drawn to the flower. that the masses of the blossom of the slopes of the Yoshino mountain draw him to the depths of the hill for knowledge, and that he says, Yoshino Yama, anata no koto oshiru hito wa uchigawa no sotogawa wa watashi desu. Watashi wa narete kita no de hana no tame ni anata no fukami ni hairimasu. Which means, Yoshino Mountains, the one who will get to know you inside out is I, for I've gotten used to going into your depths for blossom. So I invite for us to be in a moment of silence as we reflect that we are fragile creatures. That we do open our hearts sometimes. And with the topic that we will discuss, which is about burnout. So I invite us to be in a moment of silence, and those who are moved to speak, do share to the circle.
Good morning, everyone. Neville here. I would just like to take the opportunity to maybe reframe, maybe talk about the antonym for burnout, which I think is burn in. It's it's good to have burn in, membakar semangat, when you see, the fruits of your labor and all that, then it's burn in, then membakar semangat lah. But sometimes but I think burnout is when the fruits that you hope to is tidak jadi, and then you venture into more endeavors to have some burn in, tapi tidak burn in, more burnout, I think. So macam as things gets more complex, more complicated, then I think that's where the feeling of burnout starts. And macam boleh rasa lah burnout itu begitu. There's many other juga lah, but that's all I would like to say lah.
My name is Jennifer. I have a question about the word burnout. Can I ask a question to everyone? Who feels like they've been through burnout or they're having burnout feelings right now? Raise your hands. Oh, nobody. Oh, 1, 2. You've had it in your life or you're going through it now? My feeling about the word burnout is, it's about how you use words to describe something. And there's a slight danger. Sometimes people like to use the word burnout. Actually, the more common thing is stress, right? And then lots and lots of stress will lead to burnout, as far as I know, right? But I think each of us, when you think of the word burnout or when you think about the word stress, you have to really think, are you really stressed? Sometimes you're tired, but you use the word stress because it's kind of the thing to say. Oh, stress ba siya ni? Stress. You have to be careful about how you say it, because when you say it, you're putting that word into your body. You know, you're absorbing it. And why I'm bringing this out is I notice before the MCO, everyone is stress. You know, stress lah. You know, terlampau banyak ni kerja. Kalau lah saya boleh sama anak saya, kalau saya boleh sama mama saya, memang bagus lah. Tapi ini kerja ni sangat stress. And then MCO happened. We had 1 year of, in a way, bliss. For me, it was bliss because I didn't have to rush out every morning. I could be at home. I still had to work through Zoom. And with Zoom, you have no escape because you're at home. Kau tidak boleh bilang, oh, siya keluar. Cannot. You're at home. You're supposed to be at home. But even during MCO, people was even more stressed. Stress di rumah, stress ada anak, stress susah mau cakap di Zoom, anak lari-lari, stress sama keluarga. And then you hear of a lot of depression, and you hear of what you call it, violence in the family, you know, abuse, wife abuse, or I don't know, children abuse. So what's that? What's happening then? Is that also burnout? Is that also stress? So is that word based on situation, or is it just the way we think? That's all that I really just want to share. What does burnout really mean to each of us?